Hello everyone, so this Friday we are going to be having a look at making colour wrappings. So this is something that we do for like when we're trying to design something, work something through, see what it'll look like, have a rough idea what it'll look like. They're also really good for decorative purposes as well. As you see here, really satisfying. You can make some lots of different colours out. It does also show you, if you were to weave it, if you are going to go over the top, because most of the time most of our colour wrappings will come out a bit like this. Just so we can have a look at what the warp's going to look like. This gives you a little idea if you're going to put some colours in the weft. Obviously it won't show you how the pattern will come out, but it will show if the colour will work with those. And also they're just really satisfying. Cool, so I'm going to show you it on a smaller bit of card, but you can do them on larger ones if you are doing them obviously for decorative purposes. So like this one I've started here, which is a lot larger, but it's up to you what you want to work with or what you're going to use them for. So I've got some nice colours here that we've had used on the doubler. And you can, depending on what you want, you can do different widths of yarn. So obviously I've got this chunky cotton here. I've got from cotton to hemp, linen, and also obviously some beautiful silks from the mill. So I've got my tape as well. Double-sided works really well. Also you can just use glue. I've got tape, that's what I've got available to me. So yeah, if we pop those like that, so there's obviously the ones I've done beforehand, a little bit more traditional. So I've got a little bit of card. All I'm going to do is grab myself a bit of tape, if I can find the end of it. Use my non-fabric scissors, cut it. Cool, and it's just selecting what you want to use. So I'm going to go for a bit of this hemp. I'm just going to, I don't start right in the edge. It's always nice to leave it like a centimetre in, depending on what your preference is, but with these smaller ones that's what I prefer to do. But generally speaking, don't go right to that edge because it's just going to make it awkward, and I just think it looks a lot neater. Cool, so literally is just wrapping it around. So I've taped down my first end. It's probably easier actually, because I usually make this mistake, just to grab another bit of tape ready, because that's usually what I end up doing, getting to the other end and then not having my hands free to grab another piece. So I'm just going to put that there ready, and all I'm going to do is wrap. So this is where you can see that the double-sided tape would be quite handy, because I could just put a piece down and just keep going and it would hold. So, and also as you put a piece down it would stay put, so with this you have to be careful that you're not gonna let it go, because it will just unravel. Another thing to be careful of is, obviously I've got quite a nice thick card here, but if you're using something a bit thinner, really be careful, because it does like to bow. I would really only recommend using this kind of thicker card, because it will just be so difficult. So yeah, it is just a case of wrapping it around. It is a lot harder than you think to try and keep it straight. So it's really up to you. A lot of the time when we are making colour wrappings, we're working off of something a customer has asked for, or we're working through them with that, or we've got set colours we want to try out. And sometimes when I'm working with these kind of things, I'm copying off a picture. So I've got a really nice picture I like, maybe it's a landscape, and I'm just picking colours out of that because I know they go really beautifully, and trying them out, seeing if they work well. Sometimes I'll just paint those colours down and put them all together, see if they work before I get to this stage. But it is just completely up to you. Just do what you feel's best. So all I just did there was put my next bit down, put my tape down and cut. So I've got my first little bit on, and that's just depends on what I want to go on next. So I'm going to use a bit of this fancy yarn just to add a little bit of texture. So now you could just keep going straight this way, but I'm going to add a little bit going this way. So again, I just want to cut my 2 pieces of tape off. I mean, you could be really prepared and do all of this at the beginning, but obviously I don't know how much tape I'm going to need because I don't know how much I'm putting down. So just another snip there and there. Leave that bit for later. And again, just going to pick where I'm going. So I'm probably just going to stick that there. So this one I'm not working off of anything, it's just kind of a gut feeling. I thought this would look nice now, so let's put this on, see how this goes. You may regret it, but that is the purpose of these. And also, if you do, it's not too difficult to take off. If you go, actually that's really horrendous, you can just go, now I'm taking it off and take it off. So that's all I'm going to do with this bit. Now, what I might learn with this is it might be very difficult now to wrap back the other way again because it's quite chunky. But again, something you learn as you do it, which gives you really good heads up for warping and weaving. So I've got that bit there now. I think I'm going to go back in with a bit of hemp. So what I'm starting to build here with going one way then the other is the illusion of kind of like stairs, I guess. It just kind of ladders it down a little bit because obviously as this one goes over, it tucks the next bit under. You don't need big bits of tape, just enough to hold it down. Just stick that on there. Put this one away. Okay, so I'm just going to grab that like that. I'll show you what I mean by that. So you can't see it too much on here because I've only done a small bit, but as you can see, it's like as I did this bit first, and then I've wrapped around this bit, and then I've gone and wrapped around another bit, and then I've done this bit, and then so forth, so on, and you can see how it goes step, 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 like that. It is also what I've started doing here. So with this one, I did change colours. I did little small stripes within this bit as a section, then covered, and then as I'll go down, I'll do more and more, and it'll do like a little ladder. So realistically, actually, you won't see a lot of this bit. You're only going to see them steps coming downwards. So a lot of this is going to be covered, and the same with here. A lot of it's going to be covered up. So that's what you've got to think about as well. If it's something you really like to show off and you want a lot of it, you've got to realise if you're coming down like that, you are going to cover up a lot of this. So get my hemp around. See what I mean now? You can see how, because this is quite a risen piece, you're getting that kind of little gap underneath there where it's sitting above everything now. Now I will continue to get that all the way across now because I have that there, but I quite like the risen textured effect, but that is again really up to you. If I really didn't like it now, I could cut this off and go back and take this off, but I'm going to keep with it, see how it comes out. So like that. I have a similar size width. You could be really technical about it and measure everything, but again, I just kind of, sometimes the most random ones are the nice ones because there's something you wouldn't normally do, so you discover something slightly different, which is the whole point of these, is just working out before you get to putting it on. So I might go for a bit of purple now. So this is a lot finer than what I've been using. So this will be a lot different, and it will take a lot longer to build. So obviously the more you put this kind of stuff on, the longer it's going to take to get you what you want. So pop that on there. Got quite a bit of tape there. Cool, and I'm going to wrap again. I'm not going to make you sit through me doing the entirety of it because that probably won't be the most interesting thing ever, and you'll want to crack on with your own. But so basically all I'm doing is just building whatever I want, wherever I want, doing some fancy bits if I want to do some like little fancy yarn, doing different colours, just testing out, I think will work nicely. Sometimes before you do these, if you're trying to do like fancier decorative ones, it is nice to go back to the simpler ones that we do just do for warp, because you can see what colours will work nicely together. So if I put these here all together like this, I would have seen, okay, yeah, they work very nicely, or this colour doesn't sit nicely with that one, what if I put it in a different direction? And then you can move on to being a bit more technical and trying to be a bit more decorative. But all I did right, so is built what I have here, And at the end I thought, oh, okay, they're all kind of blended in, they're very similar textures. What I can do now is build back onto it. So this wasn't wrapped when I wrapped everything else, this was put on afterwards. So you can then add bits on the top of your pre-done essentially warp. So then if I decided actually I wanted a flash of this silky pink done from the doubler, I can just add it on the top. So again, finding my tape. So I could just go back in. I think, oh, I might like it right there. And then I just go back in and do a bit on the top. Again, if you don't like it, just go, nah, not having it, take it off. So I can just put that back on. So, and then taping it down. Like that. And then again, if I wanted to go the other way, add a bit over the top of that. This will, remember, anything you do afterwards will just sit on top of everything. So it's got to be something that doesn't necessarily have to be bold, but you know, I tend to do thinner stripes. So yeah, and then you just go over the top that way, think, oh, that works really nicely with that. So in retrospective weaving, I might think, oh, that looks really nice sat over the top like that. Bearing in mind, obviously, it's going to be woven in. I might be, okay, rather than a bit of plain weave, which will probably hide this, blend this a bit more, I want it to sit bold like that. I might put a satin across or something like that, so that will make it more sit on the surface. So it does really give us a good insight. Obviously, this won't look exactly the same, but it will give us a good idea of roughly how we want the yarn to sit and what colours we want. And that's your yarn wrappings. So that's about it, really. Enjoy your wrapping and get in touch with us if you want to show us any of your wrappings. Thanks, guys. Bye.